Standard 11 Chemistry. I am going to discuss some topics of Chapter 2, that is Structure of Atom. Structure of Atom. Structure of Atom. In structure of atom, today I am going to discuss at first about the shape of orbitals, and then we will be discussing electronic configuration of the elements. How to write the electronic configuration of the elements. So in the beginning I will be dealing with the shape of orbitals. Yes, you know there are 4 orbitals, s, p, d, f. The shape of these orbitals are known to us, and the shape of d orbital is still to be discovered. So we will discuss in the beginning the shape of orbitals s, p, d, f. S orbital is having spherical shape. Spherical shape. Spherical shape. P orbital is having jumble shape. Jumble. These p orbitals, this p subcell actually has p subcell has p orbitals, 3 p orbitals, and these 3 p orbitals are denoted as px, py and pz. Yes students, S subcell has got only one orbital, S orbital, and that is spherical shape. But P subcell has got 3 p orbitals, px, py and pz. In px orbital, the lobes of the orbitals lie in x-axis. This is px orbital. Again, py. In py orbital, the lobes of the orbital lie in y-axis, and in pz orbital, if you are taking this as z-axis, you can draw here also z-axis. Here also you can show z-axis. This is, suppose this is y, this is x and this is z. In pz orbital, the lobes of the orbitals lie in z-axis. Okay? In the pz orbital, the lobes of the orbital lie in z-axis. Now we will be discussing d subcell. So, what I have told, that S subcell has got only one orbital, and that is having spherical shape. P subcell has got 3 orbitals, px, py, pz, and it is having jumble shape. Now we will be discussing regarding orbitals of d subcell. Yes, d subcell is having 5 d orbitals, dxy, dxz, dyz, dx square minus y square and dz square. 5 d orbitals are there in d subcell. There are 5 d orbitals in d subcell. Now, is double dumbbell. It is having shape double dumbbell. Double dumbbell. Yes, p orbital has dumbbell shape, but d orbital have double dumbbell shape. Now we'll be discussing this various d orbitals, x and y. If you are representing, then if the lobes of the orbitals lie, if the lobes of the orbital lie in x and y axis, then this is dx square minus y square orbital. Next, what is the shape of dz square? It is like this, g z square. Now, I will be showing dxy, dxz and dyz. X, y, this is dxy orbital. X, z, this is dxz orbital. And this is yz. This is dyz orbital. Yes, students, you see, the structure is three-dimensional, but I am showing in two-dimensional, so I am not representing here third axis. Okay? Only simply we'll have to understand that in case of dx square minus y square, the lobes of the orbital lies in x-axis and y-axis. And in dz square, it's like this. In dxy, it lies between the x and y axes. Here the lobes lie between x and z axes. And here in yz, the lobes lie in between y and z axis. So this is all about the shape of orbitals of SPD. The shape of F orbital is also under research. It has not yet been discovered. So let us study about only shape of SPD orbitals. Okay? S is having spherical, D is having jumble, and F is having, S is having spherical, P is having jumble, and D is having double dumbbell shape. Okay? Now, in structure of atom chapter, I am going to discuss electronic configuration of elements. Yes, in our junior classes also we have learnt to write the electronic configuration of elements in terms of cells. Suppose you are given to write the electronic configuration of sodium 11 used to write 281. Isn't it? All of us used to write 281. But here we'll be studying regarding subcells and orbitals. Okay? In junior classes we have studied that electrons are present in cells. And now we'll be studying in detail that in cells there are subcells. And in subcells there are orbitals. Okay. Just now I have discussed that in S subcell there is only one orbital. P subcell has got 3 orbitals. And D subcell has 5 orbitals. F subcell has 7 orbitals. Okay. What I am telling? S has 1 orbital. P 3 orbitals, D And how many electrons can be accommodated in each orbital, that also will be known. Yes, students, only 2 electrons can be accommodated in a particular orbital of a particular subcell. Okay. How many electrons can be accommodated in an orbital? Only 2. And these electrons are represented like this. This arrow, half arrow or full arrow is also sometimes written for single electron. See, this I will explain in quantum number. Okay, that this upside arrow means the electron spins in clockwise direction and downside arrow means electron spins in anti-clockwise direction. You know, in the nucleus, in an atom, at the center in the nucleus, proton and neutron is present and electron revolves round it in circular path. When this electron revolves, it also rotates in its own axis. This electron rotates in 2 different directions. One is clockwise direction, another is anti-clockwise direction. When the electron is rotating in clockwise direction, its spin is represented like this, upside arrow, and when it rotates in anti-clockwise direction, it is represented by downside arrow. Now, we'll be discussing this about orbitals. You see, S subcell has got 1 orbital and maximum how many electrons can be accommodated? 2. P subcell has got 3 orbitals, Px, Py, Pz, and each orbital can accommodate maximum 2 electrons. So, P subcell can accommodate maximum 6 electrons. S subcell can accommodate maximum 2 electrons. P 6 electrons. Then D 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. dxy, dxz, dyz, dx square minus y square, dz square. Each D subcell can accommodate 2 electrons. So total it can accommodate 10 electrons. And similarly, F subcell can accommodate, S subcell can accommodate 14 electrons, 2 to 4 to 6 to 8, 10, 12, 14 electrons. S subcell can accommodate maximum 14 electrons. So, before studying about the electronic configuration, we'll have to make a clear concept that each cell contains subcells. And in subcell, there are orbitals. And in each orbital, how many electrons can be accommodated? 2 electrons can be accommodated. In S subcell, there is only 1 orbital. So, S subcell can accommodate only 2 electrons. P subcell can accommodate 6 electrons. D subcell can accommodate 10 electrons. And F subcell can accommodate 14 electrons. So, after taking this concept, we'll be studying how to write electronic configuration. Yes, whenever we are studying about electronic configuration, we'll have to remember one scientist, that is Abbaugh, and his principle. According to Abbaugh principle, electrons are filled up in the orbitals in order of their increasing energy. So the electrons are filled up from the orbital which is having least energy to the orbital which is having highest energy. So according to Abbaugh principle, electrons are filled up in the orbitals in order of their increasing energy. So first, the orbitals which are having lower energy are filled up, and then the electrons which are orbitals which are having higher energy, that are filled up. Now let us discuss the electronic configuration in details. You see, whenever we are dealing with the electronic configuration, we'll have to understand the cell, subcell, orbital. See, in the first cell, there is only one subcell, that is S. That we have followed. In second cell, there are two subcells, 2S, 2P. Third cell, 3S, 3P, 3D. Fourth cell, 4S, 4P, 4D, 4F. Fifth cell, 5S, 5P, 5D, and 5F. Sixth cell, 6S, 6P, 6D, 6F. Let us check up till here. Now you see, we'll put arrow like this. See, simply you put arrow like this. Simply. Like this. Like this. It's very easy, students. You can do. Okay. Now, we'll write the order of energy of the orbitals. You see, the first it is 1s. Then 2s, then 2p, then 3s, then 3p, then 4s, then 3d, then 4p, then 5s, then 4D, then 5P, then 6S. Accordingly, you will be writing. See, just from upside down we are copying it, and this is the order of the energy of the orbitals. So, which is having the least energy in this series? First 1s is having lowest energy, and 6s is having highest energy in these orbitals. So 1s will be filled up at first. So now if you are asked to write the electronic configuration of sodium 11, how you will write? First of all, 1s. How many electrons can be accommodated in S subcell? Yes, 2. 1s, 2. Next 2s, 2. 2 electrons can be accommodated. Then 2p, how many can be accommodated? 6. 2 plus 2, 4 plus 6, 10. Then 3s, it can accommodate 2 electrons, but only 1 electron is left, so it will be like this. So the electronic configuration of sodium is like this. I hope you will be able to write. Again, I am taking up another example. Suppose you are taking chlorine 17. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. No, 3p6 will be more. 4 plus 16 plus 2, 12 plus 5, 17. Okay? Similarly, you can write electronic configuration of other elements also. Always do remember, frequently in standard 11, electronic configuration of the elements from atomic number 21 to 30 is asked. So, let us discuss the electronic configuration of elements having from atomic number 21 to 30. Titanium 22, vanadium 23, chromium 24, manganese 25, iron 26, cobalt 27, nickel 28, copper 29, zinc 30. Now if you are writing its electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d1. Similarly, if you will be writing, you will be getting 4s2, 3d2. Here you will be getting 4s2, 3d3. Now, for chromium, if you are writing, we are getting 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d4. If you are writing this, then it is wrong. Now, a question will arise in your mind. Why this is wrong? Why the configuration of chromium is wrong? We are writing according to above principle. And that principle states that electrons are filled up in the orbitals in order of their increasing energy. Yes, students, here you will have to lay stress to one point, and that is the stability of orbital. Whenever you are getting an orbital with half-filled electronic configuration or full-filled electronic configuration, then that configuration gives a stable electronic configuration. And a stable electronic configuration lowers the energy of the system, so that is the right electronic configuration. Now, we are raising a question that why this is wrong and what should be the electronic configuration of chromium 24? Yes, it is also very important to remember the electronic configuration of chromium and to remember the reason why it is having such electronic configuration. You see, when we are writing about chromium, we are getting 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. Then its configuration will be 4s1, 3d5. Or you can write like this: 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d5, 4s1. Both are right? Okay. This is according to the sequence of the orbital which you have seen. So I have written, but this is the better way of representing the electronic configuration. Now a question will arise in your mind that why chromium is having such electronic configuration. What is the problem with this configuration? Yes, I am explaining. You know, whenever an orbital is having full-filled or half-filled electronic configuration, then its stability increases. And due to stable electronic configuration, its energy decreases. So that will be the electronic configuration of the atom of the element. Here you see, d orbital of chromium is half filled. Yes, students, we have learned d subcell has got 5 orbitals, and if each orbital is half singly filled, then it is said half filled electronic configuration. Then it is said half filled electronic configuration. So there are 5 electrons in this subcell, and if there are 5 electrons, then firstly each orbitals of the subcell will be singly filled, and then pairing will take place. Here also you will be learning another thing, that is Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Yes, I told about above principle. All of you will learn the definition and will understand that according to above principle, electrons are filled up in the orbitals in order of their increasing energy. The orbital which is having lower energy is filled at first, and the orbital which is having higher energy is filled at the last. Next, what is Hund's rule? Hund's rule states that if there is degenerate orbitals, means if there is more than one orbital of equal energy. Degenerate means orbitals having same energy or equal energy. Then these orbitals will be at first singly filled and then pairing will take place. This is Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. So here we can see that 3D orbital of 3D subcell of chromium is having 5 orbitals, and these 5 orbitals belong to 3D subcell. So all are degenerate, all are having same energy. So if electrons are filled up in these orbitals, it is to be filled up first singly and then pairing will take place. If electrons are to be filled up in these orbitals, then it will be filled at first singly, then pairing of electron will take place. So I have written filled up the electrons in these 3D orbitals according to Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. So each orbital is having one electron. Okay. Now you see, if all the orbitals of a subcell are containing one electron, then it is said half-filled electronic configuration. Half-filled electronic configuration. Now, why this half-filled electronic configuration is stable? We'll have to understand the stability of half-filled and full-filled. Here also I am discussing full-filled. For this I am taking the example of copper 29. If you try to write the electronic configuration, what it will be? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d9. No, this is wrong. What will be the actual configuration of copper 29? It will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s1, 3d10. This is the actual configuration of copper. Copper is having this configuration. So here, in this case, there are 10 electrons in d orbitals. So all the d orbitals will be completely filled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. All the d orbitals are completely filled. We can see the d10 electronic configuration and d5 configuration. So this is known as completely filled and this is known as half-filled electronic configuration. Now, whenever an element is having half-filled or full-filled electronic configuration, then its stability increases. Now, we'll have to understand why the stability of the element increases when it is having half-filled or full-filled electronic configuration. Yes, students, this is due to two factors. One is due to symmetrical electronic configuration. Symmetry increases the stability. See, each orbital is singly filled or each orbital is completely filled. In these two cases, it is having what? It is having symmetrical electronic configuration. It is having this D10 and D5 is having symmetrical electronic configuration. And another is it is having high exchange energy. High exchange energy. Okay, so we'll have to remember how to write the electronic configuration, and whenever there is an exceptional case, how to write that electronic configuration of that exceptional case. You see here, for manganese it has no problem. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d5. Iron, similarly we'll be writing 4s2, 3d6. Cobalt, 4s2, 3d7. Nickel, 4s2, 3d8. Yes, of course you will be writing the beginning one. I am not writing. Zinc, again what it will be, 4s2, 3d10. So all these electronic configuration, we don't have any confusion. Apart from that, we are confused where? In copper and chromium. Why? Because they are having exceptional electronic configuration. Why they are having exceptional electronic configuration? Because chromium is having half-filled d orbital and copper is having full-filled d orbital. And half-filled and full-filled electronic configuration increases the stability of the atom of the element. Okay, why it is increasing the stability? That also I have explained. That is due to two reasons: due to symmetry and due to high exchange energy. So you will be trying to write the electronic configuration, and many other exceptional cases you will be getting. If you write the configuration of silver, palladium, there also you will be seeing due to completion of d orbital, it is having exceptional electronic configuration. Okay, then that's all about electronic configuration. You try to write electronic configuration of element and also its ion. After loss of electron, how you can write the electronic configuration.